welcome to the latest installment of Sister Chat. And it's a video series hosted by the Sisters of Notre Dame to bring women together to connect, honor, and to advocate for and teach each other. My name is Sister Susan Mary Missler, and today I'm here with our guests, Amanda Domalski and Sister Rosine Sobczak, who have joined me to celebrate Earth Month. And of course, Saturday is Earth Day. And we are going to discuss how we can raise environmental awareness and what actions we can take in our everyday lives to protect and save our Earth. Caring for the environment is not a new concept. Since the beginning of time, we know that God called humanity to be a good steward of the Earth. So Sister Rosine, will you share something about S.A.V.E. and just what your organization does, please?
S.A.V.E. is an acronym for Science Alliance for Valuing the Environment. We've been in motion since 1990, actually, so it's almost 33 years in August it will be, as we link ecology, spirituality, and sustainability. And we've been following the goals of the United Nations. They have 17 sustainability goals, and also the Laudato Si of Pope Francis.
Amanda, can you tell us about your role in the Metroparks and how you invite people to care for our Earth?
Yeah, so I am a naturalist with the Metroparks, and as you guys are aware, Metroparks Toledo is a conservation agency, so our driving mission, our driving goal is to conserve the natural resources of the area through creating, developing, improving, protecting open spaces for the public, just for the general enjoyment, the education, and the health and welfare of the public.
Are there any tips that you would give to people in their everyday life?
One of the things I believe that is important is to teach about or show what life is, because as a universe, we are all interconnected. You mentioned plants, animals, even the rocks and stuff that we have. And all these things are interconnected, but the living things are interconnected by life. And I don't know if people know what a living thing is. If you see a spider or you saw a fly, first thing you want to do is step on it or swat it. But it's living. The other thing I think today, to be very, very cautious and do it a lot, as much as you can, is to be educated.
Just being in nature is so important. It just, I've seen that in children already that I taught through the years.
We have the principles of Laudato Si and the United Nations, and both of those things talk about integral ecology. You see Florida, for example, that's just getting over another flood. How is that environment affecting all those people? Or when people have to move their whole life, it's important that we see this aspect of nature education, ecology.
It would actually be very beneficial, and it's super important for people if they could start looking at their own yards and their own private property and trying to incorporate nature back in there. We don't want to get too doom and gloom on statistics, but we're unfortunately in the middle of a pretty massive biodiversity loss where the insects, the birds, the vertebrates, the frogs, the bats, most species are in decline, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of them that we can have direct action that we can take to improve is habitat loss. It's actually very critical for humans to start looking at our private spaces and places where there's a lot of lawn. It just doesn't provide the food, the water, the shelter that animals need to live there. So if people can start even just devoting small areas of their yards, their backyards, or if they don't have access to their own private property, maybe community centers they can become involved at, schools, libraries, things like that, and start putting the nature back in. Ways you can do that specifically, planting natives is huge. Many of the plants that we plant today are not from Toledo, Ohio originally, and so the animals that live here, they can't eat them because they didn't evolve with them. As well as planting natives, also removing invasive species, which are species that just kind of get out of balance. If you have them in your yard, unfortunately they can escape, for lack of a better term, from your yard, because seeds spread by wind or by birds, and so you may have a beautiful species, but if it's invasive, it can escape to a natural area where it becomes out of balance, and then it becomes a challenge for the other plants and the wildlife that are living there. So planting natives, removing invasives, and just trying to make your yard more welcoming to nature as a whole can really, really help us combat this biodiversity loss that we're experiencing. If people are interested in that, luckily May has a lot of native plant sales coming up, so that's a great place you can get native plants. I really encourage people to go to the Wild Ones website, and they list out all the local native plant sales where you can get beautiful, beautiful plants that will enhance your garden while also providing habitat and food for the critters that need to live there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and if they don't have a yard, they can still grow things in their house. They can put a little plant, you know, or get a little plant and watch it grow. And, you know, if you've got an adult that would work with them and saying, oh, let's see how much it's gone today, you know, and things like that, it's important.
Yeah.
I want to thank both of you for coming today, for your time, your talent, both of you, for sharing that with us. And I want to thank our viewers for watching, and be sure to join us for the next Sister Chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.